Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a horse. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. An easy way to draw a circle is to first make a couple of small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make a couple more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the small marks using curved lines to finish the shape of the circle. You don't have to draw a perfect circle, but if you're having trouble drawing one, just trace the outer edge of a coin, a bottle cap, or anything else with a circular edge. To the left, draw a smaller circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. The horse is facing forward, so only a small portion of this circle should be visible. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. Also, pause the video as you follow along to draw at your own pace. On the top right side, draw another circle as a guide for the head. This circle should be about half the size of the first circle. Don't place the head circle too close to the body or the neck will be too short. On the bottom right side of the head, make a small mark for the first part of the muzzle. Pay attention to the distance between this mark and the head circle. Connect the small mark to the head circle using curved lines to finish the guide for the muzzle. This guide should be similar to an upside-down arc. The muzzle should be big in relation to the head. Now draw a sloping line across the entire head. This is a construction guide that will help you place the facial features later. On top of the head, draw two small triangular shapes as guides for the ears. The two ears should be similar to the letter M. Under the first circle, draw an angled line as a guide for the front leg. Bend the line a couple of times to indicate the joints. Bend the bottom of the line to the left because the foot will be raised. To the right, draw a long vertical line as a guide for the other front leg. Make this line slightly longer than the first line. Under the circle on the left, draw a long vertical line as a guide for the hind leg. To the right, draw an angled line as a guide for the other hind leg. Connect the head to the body using a couple of sloping lines to create the guide for the neck. The shape of the neck should be wide. On the left side of the body, draw a long curved line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. Inside the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. Place the eye to the right of the construction guide and close to the center of the head circle. When you get the size and position of the eye right, darken the shape. Make the top of the eye flatter than the circle. As you darken the shape, make the sides pointier for the corners of the eye. Inside the eye, off to the side, draw a tiny circle for a highlight. In the middle of the eye, draw an oval and shade it in for the pupil. Draw a couple of lines above the eye for creases. Add some lines at the bottom too. Inside the muzzle, lightly sketch a small curved shape for the nostril. The shape should be similar to a drop of water. When you get the shape of the nostril right, darken the lines. Draw a couple of short curved lines around the nostril for creases. Draw a curved line to the right for the structure of the nostril on the other side of the head. Draw the front of the muzzle along the bottom edge of the initial guide. At the bottom, curve the line up to create the mouth. Sketch lightly at first and only darken the mouth when you get the shape right. To the left of the mouth, draw a few curved lines for the bottom lip and the chin. Draw the chin along the path of the guide. Darken the triangular shape on the top left side of the head for the first ear. Make the sides of the ear more curved than the guide. Add a few strokes inside the shape for the ear's opening. Use the shape on the right as a guide to draw the other ear the same way. Between the ears, draw a couple of long curved lines for the front of the mane. Don't draw the individual hair strands on the mane, just draw the mane as a big shape. Use pointy shapes for the tips of the mane. Follow the outer edges of the initial guides to draw the rest of the head. Below the mane, draw a curved line for the brow that's on the other side of the head. Connect the brow to the bottom part of the muzzle. Make the top of the muzzle thinner than the initial guides. Darken the basic paths of the guides at the bottom to create the lower jaw. Draw the bottom of the jaw higher up than the initial guides. Curve the line for the jaw up toward the eye to emphasize the shape. Add a few short lines inside the muzzle for creases. Use the second line from the right that's under the body as a guide to draw the front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. The top part of the leg should be inside the body. Make the top of the leg wide and the bottom narrow. Draw circular shapes where the guide bends to create the joints. At the bottom, draw a small square-like shape for the hoof. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Add a few curved lines as you darken the shape for the joints and the muscle structure. This leg is stepping forward, so make sure that the bottom of the leg is higher than the other legs. Make the left side of the hoof curved. Use the line to the right as a guide to draw the other front leg. First, lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guide. Curve the lines to indicate the joints and the muscle structure. Make the overall shape of the leg thin. Make sure that this leg is longer than the leg on the left. Draw a small square-like shape at the bottom for the hoof. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. Make the top part of the leg slightly wider than the bottom. Use the long vertical line on the far left side as a guide to draw the hind leg. Just like with the front legs, first lightly sketch the shape of the hind leg around the guideline. Draw a small square-like shape at the bottom for the hoof. Make the top of the leg wide and the bottom narrow. Use curved lines as you draw the shape of the leg to create the joints. When you get the shape of the hind leg right, darken the lines. make the overall shape of the leg thin. Use the line to the right as a guide to draw the other hind leg the same way. Lightly sketch the leg around the guide and only darken the lines when you get the shape right. Bend the shape near the middle to create the joint. Add the hoof at the bottom as a small square-like shape. The top part of this leg will be hidden behind the body. Now draw the shape of the mane along the top part of the neck. Draw a series of short curved lines across the shape of the neck for the tips of the mane. You can make the mane longer if you'd like. Now use the remaining shapes and lines as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the guides to create the shape of the body. Make the underside of the body rounder than the initial guides. Curve the line for the underside of the body up. Make the back of the body a bit more angular than the guides. Darken the guideline to the left of the body for the tail. Add a few short strokes on the bottom for the hair on the tail. Now erase the initial guidelines. The next few steps are sped up so that the video isn't too long. You don't have to erase all of the guidelines, it's okay if you leave some behind. Redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. Now shade your drawing. For this look, use a medium value across the body. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. To create light values, push down very lightly on your pencil, then push down harder to create darker values. Leave a section in front of the head blank for the white pattern. As you shade, use a darker value throughout the body to create some shadows. Shadows will give the figure more dimension and volume. Use a light value to create highlights. As you shade, use strokes that contour to the shape of the body. Use a dark value to shade the mane and tail. Shade the eye using a dark value. Darken the final lines to emphasize the shapes. Draw a cast shadow at the bottom using a medium value. Shading can be time consuming, so be patient and take breaks. Keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that's it for the horse. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com for more tutorials. That's how and then the number 2, then drawanimals.com. If you'd like to support my channel, please consider buying my books on Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.